again.
That was a mistake.
We're starting this with Sean messing about with his camera. Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast. We are.
No, you.
Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast.
You're not going to get the joke, but I blame on Agatha. It was Agatha all along.
Yeah, I do get the joke.
You might know if you've seen stuff.
I do get the joke. Yeah.
I know you haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it, but I do get the joke. Yeah. So if I pan down to my right, it's because I'm reading something. But anyway, my name is Jimmy.
I'm Sean.
Yeah, that's Sean. As you can see,
he has a working camera. I promise. I was prepared for this.
Yeah. I shook my camera. So yeah, we're doing the podcast. Who would have thought?
Oh my god!
You
really?
know? Yeah.
What? That's
yeah.
what we're doing here.
What a surprise!
We're ready for that.
Yeah.
Should have prepared something.
So this week's main topic will be predictions on what we're going to see in the PlayStation Access thing, like presentation, which is tonight at 10. So
they've mugged us off.
You know,
who thought it was a good idea to record a podcast on a Thursday evening? Because we're missing everything this week.
And also the Pokemon Direct, which is happening 3 p.m.
Presents. It's a Pokemon
Presents. Sorry.
Yeah, 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Sorry.
3 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Get it right. It's technically not a Direct, but it is a Direct because it's exactly what a Direct is.
Fucking Nintendo.
I then renamed it for no reason.
Yeah. So we'll get to them later, but we'll start off with sports entertainment. Because it's the longest topic, I'm going to do Elimination Chamber first. I think that's the best thing to get out of the way with now. So
get the boring one out of the way first, what no one wants to listen to, because no one listens to that podcast.
Actually, ouch. They got some. I need to look up the card, so we're gonna rant here for a second. It got some views on the website. We'll talk about quickly. Paul White, Mr. Big Show, leaving WWE and going to AEW. Yeah, a big surprise, I'd say. I don't think anyone expected it because he's a legend in the company. He was literally, he faced Drew McIntyre last year's WrestleMania, kind of, sort of. It was after WrestleMania, but it was during. Anyway, so he was still with the company. He was with the company recently, where they did this whole Randy Orton going backstage and calling all the legends fucking idiots and shit, and laughing at them. So he was there, and now he's not there anymore. So he decided to go to AEW. He will be on AEW's new show, which is, I think it's AEW Dark Evolution, Escalation. I don't know what it's called. There's something else after the Dark, but he'll be a commentator on that, and apparently he might be wrestling as well, which but it's a thing. It's a thing that's happening.
Yes, that'll be a very entertaining fight there. Much movement.
Okay, I have the card up, so we can stop talking about it.
Hang on, but it does. The sad news of this is that we're not going to get another season of the Big Show show.
Oh, the Big Show show's gone. It's gone forever. The Big Show show's
officially gone.
It's gone for. It's not like it got cancelled before, but it's now gone forever.
What? Why did it cancelled? Greatest show in the world.
Greatest show in the world. Yeah.
Better than Prison Break season 1.
Anyway, Elimination Chamber happened. It was a thing. Pre-show was.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. No, it was okay. No, it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It was good. No, it was good. I actually kind of I enjoyed it. But the first match happened on the pre-show. It was Elias versus Mustafa Ali versus Ricochet versus John Morrison. And John Morrison won by rolling up Mustafa Ali because Retribution are shit. So we'll move on to that from that. But basically that was for... Keith Lee was taken out of the United States triple threat match because he's injured or something. I don't know. And John Morrison will be replacing him in the match later in the night. But the first actual match of the show is the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match, which is for a shot at the Universal title later in the night. And that had, on my list here, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn, I believe. Yep.
No, correct.
And great match. Cesaro looked awesome in it. He probably should have won it, but
as he usually does.
Yeah, well, he's finally getting that spotlight.
So he's one of the best fighters in the company.
Yeah, let me think of some good spots. Jey Uso trapping Kevin Owens' arm in the door and then super kicking him, frog splash, getting Kevin Owens straight out of there. Cesaro tapping out Baron Corbin, the first elimination with the sharpshooter. That was really good. And yeah, but the end came with Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso, and Daniel Bryan got the win. Happy babyface win, and then Roman Reigns came out immediately after and destroyed him. So that's 2 matches for you. So the second result is Roman Reigns defending his Universal title immediately after against Daniel Bryan. Bryan actually started off the match countering a spear into the label lock, but it didn't last long and he got destroyed. The end. It was a way to get heat on Roman.
If it wasn't for the fact that it's like WWE, that's a really shit show, isn't it? To immediately make some. They've just gone through an Elimination Chamber match, which isn't the easiest of matches, is it? Let's be honest. And yeah, okay, immediately go and do it.
Well, the point was it was meant to make Roman Reigns look like a fucking dick, and it did. Yeah. It was successful in that. So, and then Edge came out, speared Roman afterwards, and basically confirmed Edge versus Roman will be the main event of WrestleMania, which is alright. It's okay. We'll move on. The next big match was Bobby Lashley defending his United States Championship against both John Morrison, who won the earlier match, and Matt Riddle, or Riddle. He's not got the mat anymore. Great match again. Bobby Lashley looked dominant. I was saying during the my live tweets that Lashley looked like he'd be the next challenger for the WWE Championship. We'll get to that later on. But Riddle pinned John Morrison, won the championship. He's the new United States champion. Happy days. Riddle's character has not been the greatest since he moved from NXT to Raw. They've really fucked him up. They make him look like an idiot, but at least he's won a title and he did it in a good match. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that. The next match was
really
just there.
This, Jimmy. You really sell WWE to people.
It's been a week. It's been a week. No, it was good. I want to say it was good. The Elimination Chambers themselves were good, but there's stuff on this card that annoyed me. Like the next match was throwaway, which I'll get to in a second. But I also want to bring up the fact that there was meant to be Asuka versus Lacey Evans, but Lacey Evans got pregnant, so obviously she couldn't be in the match. But instead of giving Asuka someone to face, they just cancelled the match altogether. And they like Asuka hasn't defended the title since about like November or something, and it's ridiculous that
going Brock Lesnar style.
She is on the back seat to Charlotte Flair, who is her tag partner currently because they were tag champions. She wasn't even the main one. She was the one taking the pins. She's still the one taking the pins. So it's ridiculous, and I feel like they're really ruining Asuka here again, like they do every time it's WrestleMania, like they did last year. But anyway, next match, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending their tag championships against, who is it, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. It was just there. It was a good match. It wasn't great. Had a finish where the sommelier Reginald came out, nearly got Sasha Banks DQ'd by accident, but then Nia Jax just picked her up and Samoan dropped and pinned her, and it was a bit lackluster, but it happens. It's helping to set up Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, most likely. Yeah, I liked the triple threat for the United States title in between all this, but like the Roman match was short for good reason. But it was short. It was nothing. Like
Yeah.
without, I know the show is Elimination Chamber, but without the Elimination Chambers, it wouldn't have been a good pay-per-view. If they'd replaced the Elimination Chambers with matches of similar quality to the one we got in the middle, it would have been one of the weaker pay-per-views of the past year. But we're lucky we got the matches in the middle. I sound like I didn't enjoy it. I actually enjoyed it while watching it, but it wasn't my favorite pay-per-view of the past year. It was okay. It was better than last year's Elimination Chamber. I will say that. But we'll get to the main event, which was Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber against AJ Styles, who was accompanied by Omos, the big tall dude, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. I believe that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, another great match. Drew looked great in it. Randy Orton got rolled up for some reason and beaten by Kofi Kingston, which I was surprised at. I was like happy at. I didn't want Randy in that match anyway, but it was still weird that it happened. Like, I would have thought maybe he would have got eliminated because Alexa Bliss came out or the Fiend returned, but no, they just had Kofi Kingston barely touch him and roll him up pretty much. So that happened, and it came down to Sheamus, AJ Styles, and Drew. Sheamus hit Drew with a bro kick. AJ Styles then hit the phenomenal forearm on Sheamus, eliminating him. And then it was AJ versus Drew. AJ went for another forearm on Drew this time, but was caught with a mid-air claymore, which looked really good. And Drew retained the title. Another good match. Was weaker than the first Elimination Chamber of the night. Another disappointment. This is one other reason I was disappointed by the show. For the first time in a few years, they didn't have a women's Elimination Chamber match, which is what they should have done for Asuka. They should have just, I don't know why they didn't. Like, it's a waste. It's just a waste. She did nothing on the card. What was the point? But yeah, that happened. That didn't happen. The chamber match happened itself. The WWE title stayed on Drew, and then Bobby Lashley came out after some talks with The Miz backstage. Him and MVP had some words, and he kicked Drew's ass. And then The Miz came out, cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, and we have a new WWE champion. Woo!
The Miz.
Yeah, he will lose it next week to Bobby Lashley, which is good. Bobby Lashley deserves to be champion, so he will be losing that title to the man next week. And Drew will probably win it back at WrestleMania, or he will be in the WrestleMania match at least. Just because he didn't have his moment in front of the fans, and I know they want to give him that. So, but they could do it and then just not let him win it, just let him lose and let Bobby Lashley retain.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I like Drew and I want him to win, I also think Bobby Lashley is in the form of his life. It's the best he's ever been, especially in WWE, I'll say. So I wouldn't mind him keeping the title, honestly, as much as I like Drew. But as long as it comes off The Miz, I like The Miz, but there are so many people that deserve to be champion that have never been champion or have been champion but briefly. Like, The Miz has had titles, he's had title shots, he's one of the most decorated people in that company at the moment, so that happened. One more critique on the actual WWE Chamber match itself. I thought Mustafa Ali was going to come out during Kofi Kingston's entrance and take his spot, just wipe him out and take his spot, because the whole story right now is that Kofi Kingston did it to him 2 years ago. Didn't wipe him out, but Mustafa Ali got injured, so Kofi replaced him, and then that led to Kofi Kingston winning the WWE title. So that's the story that's happening right now. And literally, Retribution had one part in the whole show, and that was the pre-show where they let Mustafa Ali lose. So, what's the point? What's the point? There was great storyline potential there, and they fucked it up. Kofi was good in the match though, and before the match, he looked back as to when Edge back in, I think it was 2008 or something, when Edge took Kofi Kingston out of an Elimination Chamber match and put himself in. He looked back to pretend that, and also because of the whole Retribution thing, but nothing came of it. And while he was in the pod, he just kept complimenting Randy Orton to try and get him to laugh. So he was like, "Oh, you look like you work out. You look like you do squats and stuff," and it was great. That was one of the best parts of the night. But yeah, Elimination Chamber. It was a good show. Watch the chamber matches if you're that interested. I would recommend watching another pay-per-view instead, Royal Rumble. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad show by any means. Nothing on the card was bad. It was just a bit underwhelming. I guess the middle was it was a bit of a long stretch of, that happened.
It probably also had a lot to live up to coming off the back of Royal Rumble as well.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
Of how good that was, that it was always going to struggle to show how good it was.
I think the problem is we just had NXT Takeover Vengeance Day, last week, and that was incredible, one of the best takeovers. So my mindset is oh yeah, that was really good. I can't wait for Elimination Chamber, and then to come out of Elimination Chamber and go, it was good, but it wasn't NXT Takeover Vengeance Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the wrestling news. So let's get to some actual sport.
So if you've made it through the wrestling, then well,
if you're still here, I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
I say sport. Probably this shows how it's not been a great week for sport. Probably the biggest thing is Tiger Woods. It's come out from this week, which isn't directly sporting related. It's just because he's a sportsman. Of the car crash he had earlier in the week, where he had to undergo surgery for his fractured leg and shattered ankle. It's just his own car that was involved in the incident, no one else. He's not facing criminal charges for it. There's no reason to. So he hurt himself, and he wasn't drink driving or under drugs, anything like that.
This time.
So yeah, that'll obviously. He made a great comeback recently to golf. Obviously, he's had a lot of troubles in the past. I was able to come back and win the Masters a couple of years ago. But yeah, obviously this will put him out of a few tournaments, which again could ruin that comeback he was on.
Yeah, he might have to retire depending on the extent of his injuries, but
yeah, where it's he's had to have pins and stuff put into his ankle, I think it was. Yeah, his injuries to his right foot and ankle being stabilised with screws and pins. So
well, he won't be around for about another
severe
year.
Break.
Yeah,
it was a severe break. He had to be pulled out of the car, and not taken brought out of it by firefighters. So it's obviously quite severe and trying to go surgery. So it will be a while that he's out. So yeah, won't be seeing Tiger at any golf majors in the near future.
Shame. Big shame for golf.
So it is, because he's one of the best.
That wasn't sarcasm. I was being
he's
serious.
Phenomenal. Yeah,
I feel like my voice has come across as very sarcastic today. I'm not meaning to.
But yeah, but if it does force him to retire, it will be sad. I don't know if it will, because obviously he's kept going for a long time, and I don't think it will put him out. I think there's more in him, to be fair.
Yeah,
I can't see him retiring personally, but
fair enough.
If you want me to carry on with a short one,
keep going.
More F1 car reveals, because everyone loves that. This week we had Alfa Romeo and Red Bull.
Actually,
I'll start with Red Bull because you won't know this, Jimmy. So last year, each team, they name their cars, and normally it's an abbreviation of the team name and then usually the year or the number car that they've produced. So last year, Red Bull's car was the RB16. Because they have made so little changes to this car, because the new rules bringing them been delayed, Red Bull's car for this year is called the RB16B. They're almost identical. Like you really can't tell the difference.
Sure.
Basically, the main changes are a couple of sponsors because they're no longer properly part of. So they don't have Aston Martin anymore. Because Aston Martin have made their own team.
It reminds
so
me of
off.
It reminds me of one of our predictions for the Pokemon Pokemon Presents later. Yeah, one of our predictions. Oh, it might be the same.
Yeah, they have made but they have made a bit of change to the back of the car, I think, with the exhaust. But yeah, it looks pretty identical. Alfa Romeo had one of the weirdest car launches you've ever seen. Started with 2 people dancing on the stage and 2 pianists. Don't know why. And then, the car was revealed to. They've effectively played the Uno card on themselves, and they've reversed delivery from last year. So what was red on the car last year is now white, and what was white is now red. The car looks really nice. I really like it. I think it looks really good. But yeah, this is just going to be until we get the Aston Martin, which I can't remember off the top of my head when it is. We're not really going to get any exciting launches because the cars are going to look the same as last year because there's very little changes going on, and it's very rare that you see teams with colour changes.
Yeah.
Unless a huge sponsor takes over or they change the name of the team, like Racing Point has gone to Aston Martin, so that's really the big difference we get.
Okay, nice. Any other sports-related stuff?
Yeah. Drama in the Scottish League. As Neil Lennon has resigned as the Celtic manager.
And Stephen Gerrard said he's not surprised because of what's going on.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. It's quite funny, but to be fair, they are 18 points behind Rangers, which for Celtic is a long way behind. Obviously, they've dominated the Scottish League for so many years now. Obviously, helped by the fact that Rangers were put into administration. They were put all the way down in the league, so had to work their way back up.
It's a good story. But too bad it's in the Scottish League, but it is a good story. Getting sent all the way back down.
The state they're in, I think it was always going to happen because at the end of the day, they're obviously the joint biggest names in Scotland, so people were still going to want to play for them. They were going to have an advantage over those lower teams because they just have the pull of the name and they'll still have the facilities, everything like that, that they'll be able to get players that other teams wouldn't. Obviously, they did it fairly quickly, and obviously, since getting back into the Scottish Premiership, they've been there or thereabouts up top. And then the past couple of seasons actually challenged Celtic, and this year actually obviously leading it. I don't know if anything has been said about who's going to take over. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't either.
Having a quick look now, so I can't. Yeah, I can't really see anything.
I don't think anything's been said, really. Could be anyone.
Yeah.
I assume they've got something because, surely they wouldn't just sack their manager and be stuck in limbo. Who's going to go to Celtic?
Well, I imagine, obviously, they'll have a caretaker manager at the moment. Who they is, I don't know. But there'll be someone taking over. And at the end of the day, I don't think Celtic will struggle to get a manager because at the end of the day, it's Celtic.
Yeah.
Someone's going to... Again, the joint biggest team in Scotland, someone's going to want to take them over. So,
okay.
And then finally, just going to talk about Musiala for Bayern Munich, who this week became the youngest Englishman to score in the Champions League in Bayern Munich's game against, I can't remember, I'm just looking, Lazio, therefore, whenever Lazio. I believe he is also Bayern Munich's youngest scorer. I believe he also became either the Bundesliga or Bayern Munich's youngest scorer in general earlier in the season when he came into the first team. And then obviously all of this brought up a lot of talk about who was going to go for his international football because he could actually choose between 3 countries, so England, Germany and Nigeria. And he did come out and say that he's chosen Germany for that.
He said it felt like the right choice. It's fair enough.
We
had
kind
this
of get
discussion,
it.
didn't we? where
So
I
we
was
spoke
like,
about it personally.
going to Germany, they have more of an aging squad compared to England, which is full of young up and comers. So while he may be good enough to fit into the England squad eventually, he'll get into the German squad much quicker as long as he develops at a rate that would get in games, you know?
Yeah. When he first came onto the scene, there was obviously this talk as well, because obviously it's always been there. And I did originally see that people were expecting him to go for England just because he grew up in the English system. So obviously he'll know those other younger English players a lot better. And he did play at youth level for England. But at the same time, I can also see why he's chosen Germany.
We can't complain about players going from teams to
at the end of the
team,
day,
yeah.
you can say all you want about this next generation players coming through, but it was said in the early 2000s about the golden generation, how they were going to do really well and win tournaments, and they never did. So the same could probably happen here. I can fully see why he's chosen Germany, if I'm honest. So unless everything else, that's pretty much me done for sport, I think.
No, I think we're done for sport.
Not been much this week.
All right. We spent 20 minutes on wrestling and the rest on everything else. We'll move on to TV and movies right now. There are a couple big things. I will go through my list, and then if there's anything else you want to add on, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 has a title. It will be called Spider-Man No Way Home. Unlike what Tom Holland and everyone else said, which is Spider-Man Phone Home and stuff like that. It's pretty funny, actually. It plays.
It was good. Yeah,
it plays on Tom Holland's spoilerific interviews and stuff, which is great. So that's going to be coming out the next. Is it going to be the next? No. What's still to come out in Marvel? Black Widow, but that should have been out like 10 years ago.
Doctor Strange 2.
Doctor Strange 2, which...
Because WandaVision is setting up for Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. Yeah, there's...
Oh no, is Eternals before? You got Eternals at some point, but I don't know if that's then later on.
I think Eternals is like, while it's in the universe, it's going to be quite separate.
It's like the next, right?
I don't think
like a bigger next phase sort of thing.
Yeah.
So although this is like the next phase, it's still like a continuation. It's like the aftermath of the last phase, isn't it? Like the very early part. Yeah. So it's still kind of the same.
Yeah. But yeah, that's happening. We'll stick on Marvel news. Loki has a streaming date where the date will start streaming on Disney Plus. That is June 11th, according to my notes. So yeah, that looks exciting. I haven't seen WandaVision personally, but I've heard a lot of, started off mixed, but then turned to good things. So
it was a bit slow starting.
So I expect Marvel and Disney to pull all the stops out, and try their best to make all these series good. Although
it does appear that we're going to get a gap though between WandaVision and Loki with that date, because there was obviously people were wondering if we're going to go straight from WandaVision into the Loki series, but it does appear with it being June that we'll have a nice gap in between.
Yeah. Which is weird. I thought they'd maybe do a series, like they'd make sure they had one series ongoing, which is what a lot of services do, and a lot of like TV, they'll have for DC when the CW does shows, they usually have like Arrow on, and when Arrow's on a break, obviously Arrow's finished now, but when that was on the break, Legends of Tomorrow was on. They have
the only thing I can think of is it may not be like Marvel were having something going on at the time, but the Star Wars, is it Bad Batch? Is that the clock?
That's gonna come out.
That starts on May the 4th, so obviously that might bridge the gap a bit in between. Obviously a little
Still
bit.
a while off, yeah.
But I don't know exactly how many episodes are in WandaVision, so I don't know exactly when that's
8 or 9
ending. So
8 or 9. It's either next week or
if it is 8 or 9, it's the week after. So yeah, still quite a big gap. So sorry if you're a Disney Plus fan, you haven't got a new series to watch. They have just brought out Star to Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's
because so this week Star has come, which brings a lot of TV shows. So Prison Break, How I Met Your Mother,
Much
Grey's
more
Anatomy,
adult-related
Lost.
content. That's
So
what
there's So obviously you've got all that coming, so that help bridge the gap a bit if you're wondering what to do with your Disney Plus subscription for a few months.
Yeah. I can also do some wrestling news here as well, because there was a big deal a couple of weeks ago where in America, the WWE network is now a part of Peacock, which is like a big streaming service over there, and it's now, I think, cheaper, or it's the same price, but as a package deal includes all of Peacock as well. So you're paying the same price for all of these TV shows as well, which is great. It's a great thing, and nothing's changing in the UK yet, but apparently WWE are trying to outsource it to see if they can pick up any deals. So expect maybe the WWE network to be integrated into a streaming service in the UK. Don't know what, but I'd be interested as long as it's the same price, you know.
So the problem is obviously what is like £10 a month, isn't it? And you're just there's a lot of content on there, but
it'd go to BT if it was going to go to something.
Yeah, there's obviously it would help them. I think they'd definitely get a lot more people picking it up if there were other things as an option as well.
I also have one more Marvel related thing, which I remember seeing this week, but don't quote me exactly on it. But apparently Blade is going to be PG-13, the series Blade, instead of R-rated, which has rubbed a lot of people in the wrong way, because, you know, the whole point of Blade is that he kills vampires and shit with swords. So it would be interesting to see what makes it a PG-13 and not R-rated. Apparently Disney have said that none of their stuff has needed to be R-rated except Deadpool. Deadpool's the only thing that you'd think that like was the exception to that fact. Nothing else needed it. So I mean, if they're saying that, then hopefully that's the case. And yeah, that's my Marvel news. We just check if there's anything else. Oh, one more thing. Henry Cavill has teased a new role, a new secret project on his Instagram and Facebook, I believe. And he said, well, he didn't say anything about it. In the background, there are loads of like newspaper clippings and stuff like that, and people have zoomed in and managed to like somehow detective level find some names in there, and they were references to Mass Effect. So there are like rumors circulating now that he's going to be involved in a Mass Effect project of some sort. Either it could be just promotional, so it could be like for the trilogy that's coming out, the remaster trilogy that's coming out. It might be something for that. I know he's a big gaming fan, book fan of certain series like Witcher, so it's not really a surprise if he's a fan of Mass Effect as well and wanted to be a part of something. So yeah, he's possibly going to be involved in a Mass Effect project. If not that, then he's still going to be involved in a secret project of some sort. So that's news either way. But yeah, that's all my TV and movie news. You got anything else?
While I've been on superhero stuff, we've had the news that Sasha Calle has been cast to play Supergirl in The Flash, which follows the trend of having different actors in the films as the TV series. Because we have the difference of who plays the Flash. We have Ezra Miller in the
Although
films.
they did appear in the same scene together in the crossover. I think I've mentioned this before. Yeah, they had a crossover in it.
Don't listen to everything you say, if I'm honest.
Ouch.
Okay. You didn't say about the Blue Beetle director being announced either, did you?
No, I didn't know you knew that.
We've had Angel. I literally told you yesterday.
No, I'm saying.
And you're like,
I didn't have it on my list. I'm saying it was on your list, so I let you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't worry.
Angel Manuel Soto has been announced as the director for the Blue Beetle film. which is another one part of the Marvel universe, I believe. I'm correct
DC,
on it.
DC,
Is that right?
DC, yeah, DC, DC.
Shit.
Yeah, you fucked it now, Sean. They're coming for you.
Shit. I should have known because both things were next to each other for DC. Oh, I'm an idiot. Anyway, my final thing was we have had Netflix announce the TV shows coming out in March, which the biggest one is season 7 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So if you're someone who watches it when it's out on Netflix, you've got that coming out. Personal favourite of mine, Formula One Drive to Survive season 3 will be coming out in March. Excited for that. I don't know why you're shaking your head at me.
I'm not. You can like what you want, isn't it? I'm just
what
not
else do we
surprised
have?
that that's one of the things on the list. You put Brooklyn Nine-Nine and then Formula One Drive to Survive right next to each other.
I'm just doing it in
It's
order.
fine.
of what
It's
I've seen.
fine, Sean. It's fine. I
I'm just
talked for
gonna get it
like
in there.
15 minutes about wrestling, so you know, life's life, innit?
The Bold Type is dropping multiple seasons at once after it recently announced its 5th and final season. Who else we got?
Not much.
We have documentary series of Murder Among the Mormons and Last Chance U Basketball are also debuting this month. Anime series of Pacific Rim the Black and Dota Dragon's Blood are also coming as well if you're an anime fan.
Sounds very average for animes.
Yeah, so Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of carrying this, if I'm honest.
I can't believe Netflix has such an opportunity to bring over so many anime franchises to like England, and we just get fucking shafted every time. It's fine. We have options.
Okay. One other thing, there's also a Sherlock Holmes related supernatural crime drama called The Irregulars being released as well, which sees a group of people under Dr. Watson investigate the paranormal. So if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan, could be something to
didn't
look
even
out
know
for
that
Netflix.
existed, but could be interesting.
Neither did I, but yeah, bit of a poor month from Netflix, I think, personally. Especially
Been a lot
because
of lows. There's been a
you
lot
probably, if you're a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan, you've probably seen it when it came out previously already, because obviously Netflix is like a year behind when they actually come out. So, but it depends
Which
if
is
you're
also
able to.
ridiculous.
Because I do, yeah. Because I believe, isn't it? It's E4, isn't it, in here in the UK that does Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I'll watch it online.
But yeah,
I watch it
a bit of a
through
poor month for Netflix, though.
sources. We're not specifying what.
Questionable sources.
Questionable sources. No. Definitely legal. Definitely legal.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Or gaming time?
No, that's it for TV film.
All right.
So it's kind of later in the year we really need for film when all the films actually come out, because obviously everything has still been delayed from good old Rona, that we don't really have films come out at the moment.
Yeah. So big gaming news next. For a while, Cyberpunk has been plagued with bugs, as we all know. Bugs, glitches.
Oh my god, really? What?
All sorts of things.
They've had issues with the game? What?
Yeah. As someone who owns the game and stopped playing it because I couldn't progress in a certain section and was waiting for an update, that update has been pushed back to mid to late March, which is fine. I'm not going to blame them for that. It's not their fault, allegedly, because there was news like a couple weeks ago that they got hacked. They pretty much got the source code for Cyberpunk 2077 was stolen and then sold on the black market, apparently. So they've been dealing with that, and they've listed that as one of the causes, and the fact that we're still in a global pandemic. And I think people are a bit too harsh on them just because it's funny, because they want to, be funny on Twitter or whatever. Like, I think they understand by now that they made a mistake, and it's not the developers' fault that the game came out in the way it did. It's the investors, the upper management that pushed them to release the game, and the fans partly as well. But you can't really sit here slagging them off all the time. They are trying, and this latest hack is something that's affected development of updates. So we'll have to wait another month for that. I'm sure you'll survive, people. I'm sure there are other things to do.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Might not be.
So let's move from shit developments in updates to shit games.
Shit releases of games.
Shit releases of games. So go ahead, Sean.
If you're an Xbox Gold member, don't get excited.
Oh,
because
no,
once again,
get excited. This is Bugsnax level releases here. This is true Bugs. I'm sorry. Shut up. Sorry. There's no.
Once again, Xbox members, Xbox Live Gold members are being shafted with their games for gold. The free games you get once a month. You get 4 actually now.
4, yeah.
2 for the Xbox One.
For the price of half of 4 for the price of half a game. To be honest.
And guess what? All 4 are shit.
Exactly.
So
one PlayStation game is usually better than that.
Yeah, and you're like me and you're struggling for space on your Xbox and an external hard drive, don't worry, because you don't need to take up any more space, because you will not be excited for the likes of Warface Breakout, Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse.
Oh, Sean, really? And you were saying that's not Bugsnax level. It is definitely Bugsnax level.
Shut up. And then your 360 games are Metal Slug 3 and Port Royale 3. Yay! I'm so excited.
I'm celebrating on the inside.
Can you hear the excitement in my voice? I can't wait to download these straight away on the 1st of March.
I will also put in here that the PlayStation games with PlayStation Plus have not been announced yet. But Ratchet and Clank, the remake...
But they can't be worse than this.
The Ratchet and Clank remake that came out a few years ago will be available soon. Do you know what dates they were, Sean? Did you have that?
Yes, it's from the 2nd of March to the 1st of April. You can download it.
It will be free between those times, ahead of the sequel, which Rift Apart, which will be coming out some point after that. I don't remember the exact date. But yeah, that's
and
happening.
Thankfully, you don't need PS Plus for it. You just need to own a PlayStation.
Exactly.
Why can't... It's so simple to do nice things, isn't it? I'm so glad I'm moving to PlayStation. I'm so glad. I can't wait.
He's very happy because he actually got a PlayStation 5 this week. It's being delivered.
#scalper. #scalper.
But yeah, also...
But if anyone doesn't know... before you move on, because it's actually quite interesting, the Ratchet and Clank remake is part of PlayStation's new Play at Home initiative, which they're running until June. It looks like they'll have 3 different games a month at a time for each to download and keep, with Ratchet and Clank being the first one. And it's basically just an initiative to basically try and keep people indoors to basically get through lockdown while we're still in it. So it's actually quite a good thing that they're doing to give free games, and unlike Xbox, it's actually a decent game that people might want to play.
Not wrong. I wasn't actually going to move on.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about a couple rumors that have been going around for the PlayStation Plus games this coming month. Nothing's set in stone. Nothing's been announced. So these games could maybe not show up. Who knows? But Nier Automata is rumoured because Nier Replicant is coming out soon. So they might put Nier Automata on there so players have that to play ahead of that. No Man's Sky is potentially rumoured to be out for free, which would be cool. They've done a lot for that game and improved it so much that I'm actually interested in picking it up. It's 50% off currently on PlayStation as well. So... usually when games go on deals, they might come out on PlayStation Plus, so that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, those are 2 that have been rumoured. Nothing set in stone, like I said. So yeah, but keep your eye out. There you go. Anything else gaming related?
Well, before we move on to a big one, I just want to apologise to everyone that the incredible new segment, Sean's Deals of the Week, will not be taking place this week because There's just no fresh new deals. That's the problem. They're all the same as last week. So if you didn't watch last week and you want some fresh new deals, watch last week's episode, and you can come back when people decide to put different games on sale. It may have to be a monthly thing because people are being boring at the moment. Don't really give you a good deal on games. So I've done my research. I have actually done it, but no fresh new games. I'm sorry.
Fresh new games. No.
You have to wait. Going to leave you in anticipation for the next best deals.
Yeah, so we will move on to our main topic, which is what do we expect from the PlayStation Access event, whatever it's called, I've completely forgotten, and the Pokemon Presents event. We'll start off, I think, with Pokemon because it's going to be shorter, maybe. There's less to cover, I guess. Yeah? No? Yeah?
What? I could talk about this for fucking days, mate.
No, I'm saying it's going to be a 20-minute event, I mean. I'm saying it's only going to be Pokemon related.
A lot can happen in 20 minutes.
I'm trying to pick which one. Do you want to do the PlayStation one first, Sean? Do you want to do the PlayStation one?
No, we'll do the Pokemon. It's fine, we'll do Pokemon.
All right. So what do you expect?
I'm going to start simple. I've actually, I was going to do my own video on this actually for my own channel. Didn't bother doing it because just didn't get around to it. So I had actually wrote out sort of prediction things. So I can see we're getting a release date for Pokemon Unite. I said it I think it might have been last week, that they did release a date for a open beta in Canada. But I can definitely see them giving us a date and maybe some more gameplay for it. We did have some skins for the game leaked a few weeks ago, so it probably is likely that we'll may see a release date for that. Let's check. We probably get some smaller announcements of more maybe collaborations. Obviously, we know we already have the Post Malone one on Pokemon Day itself. We've had McDonald's one, we've had the General Mills one, and we've had Levi's so far. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see something else. Maybe some more information on more of the music collaborations. Because I believe it's supposed to be like a whole album they're supposed to be doing of Pokemon-inspired music with different artists.
Yeah.
So we may get. I know from the last Pokemon Direct, they showed a music video that someone had done. So it may be a case that we get to see one of the songs from that. So that could be expected. They may mention something about the Pokemon cards, the TCG. Obviously, there will be. So we should have been getting a portfolio and a promo Pikachu as part of I don't know if I mentioned this before about the oversized cards on here. So they're doing 25th anniversary. They're reprinting the very first artwork of each starter from each region and working backwards. And they'll have the Pokemon 25th anniversary stamp on it as well. With I believe the Galar starters will be the first ones, which is in March. So we may get more information on what's happening with those, when they're going to be released, how you can buy them, because currently no one knows. They're supposed to be released soon, and no one knows where you can get them from, how you can get them, whatever. There'll also be a special 25th anniversary set, so we may get a look at what that's going to be. But at the moment, no one knows. Obviously, for the 20th anniversary, we had Generations. But yeah, with literally no information at all so far, so we may see that. I'm expecting them to do like some smaller games, maybe some other mobile games. Not really sure what they could be. They're normally quite a big surprise, if I'm honest, what they are, so it's hard to predict. We might see some more gameplay of Pokemon Snap 2, because that's coming out soon. So we may see some like final gameplay before release of that. I'm trying to think of anything else before I go on to the final thing, which may be the last thing to talk about. I'm kind of expecting them to maybe announce like a string of gift Pokemon for the year. They did it in the 20th anniversary with a lot of mythicals, which they do. I think they've done a few times, stuff like that. But on the 20th anniversary, basically every month there was a new mythical you could get either via a download code, go into a shop like Game here, or something like that. I can see them doing a similar sort of thing for this. We have already had announced a special Pikachu that can learn Sing. If you didn't know, don't play the games. Pikachu can't normally learn Sing. It's quite a useful move. it's nothing special.
No.
If I'm honest, unless you're an actual TCG player, sorry, not TCG, a VGC player, it might make a difference if you want to use that in a team. But yeah, I expect something along the lines of some mythicals maybe being released for free throughout the year or something like that. And the big one is obviously we're all expecting a main series game because we're due one this year for normal releases.
And what do we think that's going to be, Sean? Pokemon Let's Go 2. Kanto returns. Kanto strikes back.
There's been a lot of rumours, as there normally
Kanto
are.
harder.
Obviously, everyone wants Gen 4 remakes. Everyone wants the Sinnoh remakes. We thought we were going to get them announced last summer because that's when they usually do remake announcements. Usually, main games get announced around this time of year. Remakes get announced later in the year. We didn't get it. We got a Unite announcement. Basically, the Sinnoh games for Diamond and Pearl, their 15-year anniversary of when they're released, and they're the only games apart from the most recent one, Sword and Shield, to not get a remake, so they are long overdue. A lot of people want them. Will we get them?
For there to be a whole Pokemon Presents direct style thing, there has to be one big thing, surely. One big Pokemon thing.
Well, there normally is on Pokemon Day. There's always some sort of direct link on Pokemon Day anyway. Obviously,
but they have to do something. They can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't do a Legend of Zelda and say, "We know you want Breath of the Wild 2." Too fucking bad.
Yeah, I think we're getting something. We're definitely getting something.
Yeah.
They have to for the year it is. There must be something announced. What that is, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, when I made thought about this video at the time, I thought we weren't going to get Diamond and Pearl remakes. I thought it was just going to be another one of those things where the community keep asking about it, keep wanting it, but we never get it, sort of thing. But then I keep seeing things pop up. So some content creators were giving these special chocolates to celebrate the 25th anniversary. I don't know if you've seen this, but basically there's a big one in the middle of Pikachu. Down the left-hand side, there are the original starters of Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander. Down the right-hand side, you have the Galar ones of Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey. And then in the middle, along the top,
Sinnoh.
is the Sinnoh starters of the main man Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig. So when they do something like that, with it being the anniversary one on the build up to this, it looks like they're going to be something related.
Yeah.
But obviously there has been a lot of back and forth of rumours that it could be in a Let's Go style. So when the Switch was first released, the Pokemon game that came out was Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which were another remake for the original games. We spoke about this earlier when the Direct got announced separately. Neither of us have been huge fans of the Let's Go game.
It was okay, but
they're all right.
It was boring. It was very boring.
I like the art style of it. I kind of like the concept of it, if I'm honest. Well, I do and I don't. I can see why they did it because obviously it was kind of off the back of the hype of Pokemon Go. So I believe they purposely did it to target a younger audience. Of the less grinding was needed. The whole idea of leveling up your Pokemon was to catch more.
And then they made Pokemon
so I see why they did it,
which had less grinding. but
yeah. So I like the ability that you could see Pokemon in the overworld. It's the first time we saw that. You could see shinies in the overworld, which is for people who are into that. I think that was really good. It had its positives. They're not bad. I think it's just for people who have obviously played the originals and replayed them and played the remakes. It's kind of like there's nothing new to it. It was a new way of playing the game, but nothing really changed in the story. So
I'm very much done with going back to Kanto now.
Yeah,
and so Johto. I'm kind of done with that. So I hope we don't get a Let's Go to it Johto, which we're going to get. If they're going to do it, it's going to be Johto.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or it would for me anyway. That if they're going to keep doing these Let's Go games, that they would go in order and that they were kind of like separate remakes sort of thing, that they still existed, but they weren't like official in the main series sort of thing. It's just we're going back and we're doing these style of games for people who want that style of game.
Yeah.
And as a way to bring all those older games to the Switch, which I did just think another thing that I think might happen is we may see some ports to the Switch. So they have done that previously. So with the 3DS, they brought, again, the originals, they brought red, blue, and yellow. And I believe they did Crystal as well into the 3DS. It was a direct port, so it looked as if you were playing it on a Game Boy. They didn't do anything updated to it. It was literally straight game on there. I could see them doing a similar sort of thing here. Especially with it being an anniversary. Whether it'll be the originals again, I don't know. Whether they do something different, maybe that's what the Gen 4 is we're getting. They're just going to port Diamond and Pearl onto the Switch.
People would be mad.
God help them
we
if they
still
do
have
that.
We still have our DSs. It's not like they've gone. Like, I still have a 3DS. I don't need a port.
It'd be annoying if they did that. I think it would be nice if, in a dream world, I think it'd be fantastic if they did something where it was like a single download file where all the old games were ported to the Switch. Maybe not the 3DS ones because they're still quite new. But maybe anything
I'd
from
be okay
like
with it.
Gen 5 backwards, they could do this one file where you can. So they've done it with like the old. You can download like an N64. It's kind of like an emulator, isn't it, for the Switch
it's
sort
an
of thing,
emulator,
where you can choose your game. That if they, it would be amazing. I don't think they will, annoyingly, but I think it would be great if they did something like that, where you could. They updated enough to the games. They were as they were to play them. It's just they're now on the Switch, so you can play them on the bigger screen on an updated console.
I'd like that just for the simple fact that the only mainline Pokemon game I haven't played is Black and White 2. And I'd like to play them.
And they're impossible to get. If you want to buy
so
that game now,
expensive.
you have to pay more than the price they originally came out for, which is ridiculous for saying they were on it.
It's a joke.
They were on the DS, weren't they? It wasn't even a 3DS. They were on the original DS/DS Lite.
3DS was
they were optimized for the DS Lite, and it's impossible to get the game. Well, it's not impossible. There are ways, but they are very questionable ways.
If you want to be paying, £50, £60 for a how many year old game now it is? 8 years, 7 years.
So obviously emulators exist, but there is you can't obviously endorse those, and obviously if you're someone who maybe wanted to obviously get the Pokemon and then bring them to the newer games, so you have like a full Pokedex, you have them in Pokemon Home. Obviously, you need the physical game for that, and it's just you can't get them. So I think something like that, having all of them, would be great, but I can't see it happening.
I only personally endorse emulators if you already own the game. You know, like with Emerald, we all own the game. So to record it, I needed to record it on my laptop. I don't have anything to record.
So I think they're fine if you own the game and it's a way to record it, or if you own the game and you want to do something like increase the shiny rate, or you want to do a randomizer. But I think if you've already bought the game, I don't see an issue with it because you've paid the money for that game and you have the physical copy with you. Like, it makes no difference. Or obviously the fan-made ones, which are some great games. There are some ones out there. Obviously, you cannot buy a physical copy because it doesn't exist. It's a fan-made one. But I can see them doing some sort of port. I'd like them to, obviously depending on what it is. Just hopefully not Gen 1 again, because I don't need to play it again. But yeah, a main series game. Now with everything coming out, like there's some notebooks that got released for marketing, and it has all the Sinnoh starters on it. It has Munchlax, Pachirisu, which are all Gen 4 Pokemon. Things seem to be pointing towards a Diamond and Pearl remake.
I'd actually like to see do you remember Gales of Darkness and Colosseum? Pokemon Colosseum, Pokemon Gales of Darkness. I'd actually like maybe a third game in that series. You know, they easily do something.
They brought back Snap, which was on the same console, so it's very possible for them to
even
do.
if they didn't do anything else and said, we're doing a sequel to Gale of Darkness, I'd be okay with that. I thought the games were great. They're underrated, very underrated. People would be pissed. People would be so mad at it because they'd probably never played them. But I'd be totally fine with it personally. But
another possibility I was going to say is also they could redo the Mystery Dungeon sequels. So Explorers of Time, Darkness, Skies, all of those. They could do one of those. Last year they did bring out
they should just do Sky.
Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue again. Remade those, so very possible for that. And I've also seen that possibly there could be a Detective Pikachu 2, so we could see that.
They should bring out one. I don't think Detective Pikachu 1's on the Switch, is it? It's only 3DS.
No.
They should bring out.
So they could bring that back, yeah. But they're gonna do that. Why not make a second one? They easily could.
Do both, double whammy.
Yeah, they could.
Personally, like I said, what I'd want to see are, I want to see Sinnoh remakes, but I don't want them to do what they did with Oras. I don't want Ruby and Sapphire. I want a Platinum remake.
They won't do that.
They won't, but I want them to do it. Like they won't.
They definitely won't.
They won't do it because
Pokemon
they want double the money.
Versions, yeah, so they won't do a remake.
But it's ridiculous. Like I want.
But to be fair, it's fine though because obviously when they did Oras, it was both put together because you could still get Rayquaza.
Well, but the problem with Oras was like one of the best things about Emerald as a kid was the whole thing with Rayquaza coming down and stopping the beef between Kyogre and Groudon. That whole cutscene thing.
Yeah,
that's nothing in the game. Emerald had the Battle Frontier.
This time.
Well, Emerald had the Battle Frontier.
The Battle Frontier was a meme.
Where was that?
That was a big
they
meme.
said it was going to be in the game as well.
Meme. Big troll.
They fully said they'd make a Battlefront, and then they never did it. They never did it, which is ridiculous. But yeah,
it's like the only thing you want though is they'll probably do if they do Diamond Pearl, they do it, and if it's not the Let's Go version, what we should hopefully see is actually the first time of legally getting Arceus in the games. Because obviously you could get it from your.
I've got like 20 Arceuses, Sean. I don't know what you're on about. all legal. Definitely not from a game.
So the only ways previously were if you hacked your game to get the item to get what was originally supposed to be in Platinum for Arceus, which never got released, to get it as a gift Pokemon, or to hack it into your game somehow. So it does seem that
I don't actually remember how we did it. I think it was actually a glitch at the time, a glitch in the game that allowed us to do it, and then they brought out because it was on the DS.
Wasn't it because there was a time where you could scan a QR code for a certain Pokemon?
Something like that. And
basically
I think we took
it was
advantage.
Unregulated on what you could scan. So
they did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. Technically, it's not illegal.
Questionable, man.
It's questionable, but it wasn't illegal. It wasn't a proper hack. It was genuinely just a mistake on their part.
But yeah, from what we've seen, like rumor-wise, it does appear that if they are Diamond and Pearl remakes, we could get effectively like a Delta episode for Arceus. So after the main game, it'll be a post-game situation of.
If they're doing Diamond and Pearl remakes, you know the post-game is going to be Giratina.
But you said, but obviously in the Oras remakes, you got Rayquaza and Deoxys. I mean, it was the same sort of thing, but there's no reason why.
I feel like the whole point of Rayquaza is that he's there as a guardian, but Giratina is just like the god of death. So I mean, he just leads into his own thing. But I understand.
What helps with that is they could be combined because when they're originally supposed to put Arceus into the game, you would go to the Sky Pillar again to retrieve him or to battle it. So it's the same place you'd get Giratina.
Is that what it was called?
Yes.
I don't remember. I haven't played.
It's at the top of Mount Coronet Sky Pillar.
Yeah, I know it's Mount Coronet, but I didn't know it was Sky Pillar. Fair enough.
But yeah, you'd have to get this special flute. You would open a different staircase. You could go up to there. So, but obviously that would then because obviously that's also where you get Dialga and Palkia. So you could end up having to go there for 3 times. But who knows?
Yeah, we've talked a lot
excited.
about Pokemon.
I'm fully excited for it.
We may do
I can't wait to be disappointed for another year in a row.
We may potentially do a reaction to it, depending on what's on there. You know, like we won't have time to do it during it, so we would have already watched it or seen the news.
So I'm not missing when it's live. I will be at work when I do it.
So we won't be able to record it then, but we may record it after and talk about it like a mini podcast.
If there's enough to talk about, then,
if there's enough, yeah. But if we don't, we don't. Tough shit, you know. So we've talked for a very long time, so we'll make the PlayStation one quick because we have no fucking clue what's going to be on that. I personally think it's just going to be a bit of a. I think it's just going to be a bit of a recap of what's to come. You know, Resident Evil's coming out soon. We may get some Mass Effect because EA and PlayStation now have their little deal. Because EA Plays now on PlayStation, and they're really pushing it quite a bit. So we may get some Mass Effects, not new Mass Effect. I'd probably say the remaster trilogy, which is fine by me. I'd like to see more. I'm buying it regardless. I would have bought the games even if they done nothing to them. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. But I don't think they're going to announce anything new. Personally, that's my expectation. I don't think any new announcements are coming out. I don't think they can do anything new. A lot of the big series like God of War and stuff are still like a year or two away. There's not going to be another Last of Us anytime soon. The last one came out at the end of the year, so that's not happening anytime soon.
So I was going to say we might get to see a little bit about VR2 because that was announced a couple of days ago. But I have just read that apparently they're not showing any hardware at all, so it's just games. So
okay. But I just think it's a bit of a recap of what's to come when they did their whole PlayStation thing before the PS5 came out. It was before the PS5. Yeah, it was before the PS5. So I think it's just going to be like, yeah, remember this? This is what we're going to do. And here's a few more indie games to come out. So yeah.
They might mention about the delay of Gran Turismo 7. There might be a little bit more to see on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, probably just general updates on what's coming out.
I don't expect much. PlayStation do these a lot, and they never really reveal new things. You know, they do their PlayStation Access stuff, and they might have one big reveal. But I personally have no clue what it would be. If it's going to be a big reveal, it's going to be something we haven't seen before, like something that hasn't been announced yet. And that is happening in an hour from when we stop recording, so it would have already happened. But
take it with a pinch of salt. I did see something that apparently a credible leaker said there'd be some GTA news, but I can't see it happening personally. But why would they have made a big deal about GTA 5 coming to PS5 if 6 months later they were going to announce GTA 6?
But they do it at E3. They do it at E3. It's too big to do on a random PlayStation Access thing.
Yeah, just a 30-minute. Yeah.
No. E3, I think, is happening this year.
I don't see it.
Unlike last year, E3 is actually going to be a thing this year, I believe. I don't think it'll be an actual conference, but I think they'll do like their online conferences again as a part of E3. I don't think they'd miss out on another year. But then who's going to be there? Because I think Nintendo might do their own thing again, PlayStation might do their own thing again. So it's going to be like your Ubisofts, your EAs, people like when Revolver Digital came and did their own thing. I think it was Revolver Digital. But yeah, there's going to be like little things like that. So yeah, I wouldn't expect anything big until June. Like the beginning of the year is a bit of a death spot for a lot of games. You know?
Yeah, because you've just had obviously the big push for the holiday season, haven't you? So not much really.
Not to say nothing's come out
at this point.
Not to say nothing's come out, but it's if there's going to be period. There might be a big announcement, but I don't have all that much faith. I feel like this is just going to be like we're going to see a lot more of Resident Evil or something like that, especially since they put the demo out for Resident Evil 7. Like there was a short demo that came out, so they might talk about that, go into detail on that. That's the one thing I think they will do, but I could be wrong. I personally don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I think that's all. I think we've had a good talk. Pokemon, there was a lot to talk about.
Basically, we should have a lot to talk about next week because we had to talk about those two things.
Unless they're completely
hopefully. Unless they're disappointed like Nintendo, which they could. But at least it's something to talk about. Either way, we're either going to love it and talk about it a lot, or it's going to be really disappointing and we're going to slag it off for about an hour. So
yeah, like Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
Your scale is Bug Snacks, Splatoon 3. So pick which one you want to do. Yeah, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, like this video, share if you want, comment.
Please share it. If you enjoy it, share it, because we want more listeners.
We want more.
We want people to know what we're doing.
Of course. We always want more.
We want to hear from you as well. I always say this, but let us know if you want us to do anything different, cover something. Let us know.
Yeah.
We appreciate feedback. We know it's not great at the moment. We haven't got amazing setups, but
we're doing the best
we'll try and improve it. We'll take into account if people want us to improve in certain ways.
This is about the size of my room you see here. That's about the actual size of my room. So this is the space I got to work. So
thankfully I have a whole house, but
but yeah, like we just said, we'll have another podcast out next week. As always, we might have a video out tomorrow night. Well, tonight if you're watching the podcast when it comes out, depending on if we actually react. Who knows, you know? But
that's why you need to subscribe. Yes. Click the notification button, and you'll know. You'll know
click the bell
because you'll be told.
Ding the bell.
Pop up in your subscription box. So
yeah,
there you go. Every reason to subscribe to find out if we do something else tomorrow, today, whatever
the day.
It annoys me that it gets put on a different day.
We don't have a choice on that one, Sean.
I know.
But yeah, we'll see you soon.